today.
It was flashing when I was
to
in
be
here a minute
fair,
ago.
it always works. We just don't turn it on.
Don't turn it on.
No, that is our problem.
I've got a little bit of a cough, so
Oh, good.
having some mints
Is
here.
that a 10 of Altoids?
Yes, they're the best.
I haven't
Get you one
seen
if you'd
somebody
like.
have like a 10 of Altoids. It's like some ASMR.
These were
That's funny.
these got me through my morning sickness.
Really?
Don't know why. It was like these mints that were my favorite.
So listen, I'm pretty sure whenever I had morning sickness, so I was actually like in and out of the hospital. I had such bad morning sickness.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize
my
that.
My pregnancy, I lost 25 pounds.
What?
Like I was I was unwell during my pregnancy, and so I was in and out of the hospitals because I couldn't put on weight. I was violently sick.
Dehydrated.
Super dehydrated. Like I had like a line like with urgent care. I would just go in and get say. Anyways, all that being said, I had a nurse there tell me if you smell alcohol pads, like not like I don't take a thing of like Jim Beam and like huff it, but like if you like take like rubbing alcohol and you smell it, she says for whatever reason it'll stop people from getting nauseous, and that was the only thing that stopped me.
So weird.
And it didn't work all the time, but every once in a while, like if I would just like it would delay it for a while, so I could keep down some food, keep down some fluid.
Interesting.
So I would just sit there and like have like I just had and then my entire purse was filled with alcohol pads. So I would just sit there like, oh, I'm like I can't stop, I can't do something. I would smell it and it would delay it until I could go somewhere to go throw up. Anyways, welcome to the Medicare Cafe Pre-Chat, where we're talking about our pregnancy experiences and life in general.
No, I've got a little bit of a cough, and I asked Sadie, I was like, do you have something I could just like suck on so I'm
Those
not
are
hacking?
Sadie's Altoids?
No. I was like, wait a minute. I think I have some like stashed in my car from when I was pregnant.
Does anybody else remember the Altoids that were so yummy? They were like the fruit, like I think it was like a grapefruit, and
In
they
the
were
tin?
sour. Yes.
Nope, don't remember that.
Yeah, they were Altoids that were in the tin, and they were grapefruit. It was like huge in like the early 2000s, and like they were so yummy. Anybody else? Somebody help me out here. Does anybody remember these
don't remember
Altoids?
that. Nope, not ringing a bell.
That's unfortunate because those Altoids were life.
What are we talking about today?
Today, I was going to say, it is 10 o'clock. Instead of talking about anything Medicare related in the morning, we talked about our Altoids and morning sickness. So you're welcome.
Yep.
You're welcome. Welcome to, is that a giant cobweb on our webcam? That's gross.
Oh my gosh.
Someone should clean. Welcome, guys.
It is.
To the Medicare Cafe, where today we're talking about the little things.
All the little things.
All the little things. So tell me a little bit why, like you said, like this is something that Clint is the executive vice president, senior benefit services. Tell me a little bit, like when did you hear? Oh.
There we go.
Nope. When did you hear about this little things? Like what context was this given to you?
My very first day of new agent school 3.5 years ago.
Yes.
That was my very, I remember, if there's something that, that first week I remember, it is nothing about Medicare. It was Clint's little list of little things.
Little things. And I love that.
And I've heard it probably 5 times since. I think he tries to do it every new agent school. But
you should tell him that, it made an impact. Like, that was something that really impacted your career.
Because I feel like it doesn't matter if it's work. It doesn't matter if it's, a marriage or, parenthood. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of times it's the little things that actually make
I love that. And it's
difference.
True. It is true.
It is. Stop and think about it. Because his list of little things was wonderful.
Oh, I love it. So we put a list together that we kind of consider, what are the little things? What are the little things that are the value add, they're the memorable, and they're the referral? Because, obviously, I can't say that you're not going to get an opportunity every appointment. You're not going to get an opportunity every meeting, every experience that you have to change somebody's life. Right. That will be something that you come across in this industry doing what you do, but that's not something that you're going to have as an opportunity every single day of your life. So these are the things that especially over time and as a whole, these are the things that add value to your agency. Yep. These are the things that people are talk about. They're memorable. They're the experience. And these are really the things that make you referable.
And I think I know Clint and our managers, we talk about at our quarterly reviews, like, are you doing these things?
Mm-hmm.
And the successful agents are doing these things. Like, it's directly correlated.
And they're the things that, like, it's okay if I skip it this time. It's okay. I don't need to do it this time. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, no one's going to pay attention. Well, people do pay attention.
They do, for sure. One of the, like, I don't know if it's the first one or not, but the thank you notes.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
It's not the first one.
Okay, I didn't look at the slides here.
The first little thing that I wanted to talk about was going to be PDP reviews. And I'll tell you why, is because you know how many people I've heard this season talk about, like, I'm not doing PDP reviews.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not doing them. If they have an issue with their prescription drug plans, they can come talk to me. I'm not going to do a PDP review. I just don't have time this AEP. And I can truly understand why people feel that way. But, like, keep in mind, AEP is the only opportunity they have to talk about PDP.
Yeah.
If they're on an MAPD plan, they at least have OEP.
Right.
They don't have that if they're on a drug plan. And so understanding that, like, why is it that drug plans, yes, they're time consuming. Mm-hmm. They're not the biggest money maker, but they are probably like the biggest little thing, in my opinion, to satisfying and having a good book of business.
For sure. When I think of clients that have like either verbally told me or I've seen, you know, when you can just tell you're really like impacting someone, it is all in regards to their drugs. It's something that I've done to go above and beyond for their drugs. And that has meant more to them than anything else.
Well, and again, it's a benefit that people actually use. Like, people, you know, don't use their cancer benefit every month. They don't use their hopefully they don't use their MedSup or Advantage plan every month, but they do use the drug benefit.
Yes, exactly.
So every time they use that, they're thinking of you that helped them with it. It's the biggest money like you said, it's like the most impactful. Like, it's, if you want to save somebody money, people go to like, okay, let's shop MedSups. You're not going to save a person that much money shopping MedSups. I mean, in some cases you were, if they were completely orphaned by their agent 5 years ago, 10 years ago, then sure. But, like, what really you save a person money on is making sure they're on the right drug plan.
And it's not hard, guys. I mean, everybody thinks, like,
literally
no, I'm not going to waste time.
To a computer.
You know, I'm not going to make anything. Just ask them, hey, get me your full, complete drug list. My recommendation is only going to be as good as the drug list that you give me. It takes 60 seconds to add them, maybe 2 minutes if they've got a lengthy list. Yeah. To add them all into the system.
Or if you have like a savvy client, you even send them their profile and they enter in their own drugs.
There you go.
So
exactly.
That is something, again, I just heard it. I've heard it every year, but this year more than ever, probably due to the compliance updates and everything going on. I'm just hearing so many people saying, I'm not doing drug reviews this year.
Do you know how many agents that work with SMS don't do drugs?
You know, don't do drugs. Probably not many that don't do drugs, but as far as running drug plans,
don't run PDPs.
You know, it's more than I would like. I would say probably 20-something% of our agents. Now, we work with 10,000 agents. So, like,
still, that's...
So, like, 20% of it is a sizable amount that are just saying, like, I'm not going to do drug plans. I'm not going to even touch them. I'm not going to look at them. And, again, I think people are crazy missing the boat.
I want to know what a client's reaction would be if I just said, I don't do drug plans, like, you're on your own for that.
Like I'm going to help you with everything except for the part that, like, affects your income the most.
Yeah. So, like, what if anybody doesn't do drugs? If anybody doesn't do PDPs,
I'm waiting for Brian. Why? Brian's not texting anything yet. I'm waiting for him to go crazy about doing drugs.
Or not why, but I just would love to know a
how do you
reaction.
Have that conversation?
How do you have that conversation?
Because I've knowing, again, just doing the business practices that we do when you take care of a client holistically, it's hard to imagine not having a conversation about the thing that affects their wallet more than any other product.
Yeah, it's. I feel like we know something's wrong if Brian's not chiming in.
I know. Pam says,
"Are you sick, Brian? Where are you?"
Says on the PDP reviews, I think most agents will review them if they have a MedSup, but not for PDP only. And Pam, like, I absolutely understand that. Hopefully, a majority of agents, if they have the PDP, they have the MedSup, because, like, if I have a PDP of a client but I don't have their MedSup, I'm going to make that other agent look like a fool, being like, so let me get this straight, like, you're going to take, like, the really important part, the part that you invest most of your money in, you're going to put that with me, or your agent doesn't want that, but, like, this other one that you hopefully never have to use, and the commissionable one, they want to take that one, like, I think that's a pretty easy sale against that agent who isn't doing the PDP portion
absolutely.
of it. Really good point, Pam, though. It's definitely something to keep in mind. Good morning, Pam. I haven't talked to you in a while. So the next, again, the little thing that we wanted to talk about is exactly what Carrie was just talking about, which is the
thank you notes.
Yeah, it's just going to be the thank you notes being memorable after the sale
and handwritten. They've got to be handwritten.
I think, and these are for me like they're just. I'll say this. The reason why I like thank you notes, especially in this context, is that they're not expected. And if you can do something out of the ordinary, doing something that's not expected, that is like the most memorable and referable activity.
I would say half of my clients reach out and thank me for the thank you notes.
I love the Midwest.
I know.
Like, that's how it is.
Oh, I got your thank you note. So sweet. Thank you. I'm like,
how many business cards do you put in your thank you notes?
I put 2.
Absolutely. Put more in there. Shove them full. Yeah. And it's something that seems so simple, but handwriting them, I like how you say you handwrite them. You do, like, Carrie, thank you so much for the opportunity to meet with you. Something personal.
Yep.
Really hope you enjoy your trip to Florida. Loved getting to meet your dog,
time.
Fluffy. And at the end, if you have anybody who could use my services, please don't hesitate to give out my information. Mm-hmm. That's like the perfect, simple, easy thank you card.
I also write a thank you note to every referral. So if a financial advisor refers somebody, I write them a thank you.
And it's cheap. You don't have to give them
another client
money
refers, just yesterday I wrote a thank you to a client who referred his brother. So he, we haven't even signed the papers yet or anything, but I still wrote a thank you note to his brother for referring him to me.
It's just a little thing that goes a long way. Yeah. Brad said, goodness, what is the average price of increase on a PDP going 15 to 20? How often the formularies change? So that's just the thing, Brad. I know that there's just so much that goes into PDPs. One, have their drugs changed? It's really likely that their drugs have changed or adjusted throughout that year. 2, formularies change all the time, primarily because our drugs will come off patent, and so you'll start to get more generics available, which means the brand name is no longer on the formulary. So formularies will change throughout the year all the time. Number 3,
the pharmacy networks, I feel like constantly change.
Pharmacy networks constantly change. You're 100% right. And then the third thing is discussing about, do the premiums change year after year? Yes. The drug premiums, like we remember a couple years ago with, I think it was Humana, they went from the like a $12 prescription drug plan, and the next year went up to $54.
Yeah, $54.
And so like that happens all the time.
Huge jump.
It's rare that prescription drug plans are stable, unfortunately. They're kind of the one thing left in this industry that aren't really stable.
I remember meeting with someone last AEP who was, I think she was 80, and she had never had her drug plan reviewed, and like obviously plans phase out, and so they just roll them into another Aetna plan or roll them into another Humana plan. And she was like, well, I just thought drugs went up every year. And I was like, no. $7,600 is what we saved her. I will never forget that.
$7,600 on just for the year.
For a drug review. Same pharmacy, same carrier, same insurance carrier, different plan.
$7,600. Like, and that's just, again, that's just one way to save money on prescriptions.
She's
There's
one of
so
my
many
go-to
other
examples in one of my presentations.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
The third thing, the little things that make the difference. This is not so much of like how to make a difference with your consumers. This is something that you had on
type
here.
A and me.
This is it, but I agree with it, and that's tracking your numbers. I think a lot of us agents forget. Like, you're a business. You need to treat yourself. This isn't a hobby. This is how you make an income. This isn't. You need to treat yourself like a business. If a bank is asking you, like if you want to take a loan out of a bank and the bank's like, hey, so give me these numbers, and you don't know them, that's not okay.
Think of Shark Tank. I know we all watch Shark Tank. Can you imagine just showing up and be like, I don't know my numbers. I don't know if I'm profitable.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
So exactly, you need to track the numbers. The numbers that I recommend you tracking is your profit per presentation. At what point? Because if you're only selling a Med Sup with a PDP, or you're only selling a Medicare Advantage plan, it's likely that policy is actually not profitable until year 2. That client's not profitable, depending on how that client got into your hand. On average, that client's not really profitable till year 2. So you need to find out what's your profit per presentation. What's your closing ratio? I really like the idea of knowing your closing ratio, because like if you have a goal of like, I need to sell 7 policies this week, right? Then you know, like, well, if I have a closing ratio of 30%, how many appointments do I need to hit my goal of this? If I sell 3 policies per presentation, my closing ratio is 30%, and how many appointments do I need to have this week? So it really does kind of help you set up and track,
it's a way
am I
to
being
back
successful?
into it of, okay,
Yes.
if I want to make this much money, I need to make this many calls and set this many appointments, which will actually give me this many meetings with the client.
It makes the prospecting a lot more fun. It really does when you back up into it.
And another thing I like to track is, oh my gosh, the word just literally left me. Retention. Client retention.
Yes,
you know, like you might be making a ton of sales, but how many of your clients are actually sticking with you?
Yeah. Because, like, again, and here...
Because you're not doing something right.
You're
not doing these little things if they're all leaving you.
That's such a good point. You know how many agents are like, oh, I sold, like, 500 policies this past AEP. I was like, well, how many new clients did you get?
Did you lose 20 of them?
Did you lose 20 of them? Or, like, how many new clients are there? Or did you just roll over 500 policies? Or did you get 500 new clients? Are you growing? Or are you literally just taking money from your left pocket to put it in your right pocket? You know what I mean? So there's again, making sure. And I think one thing that I love is actually a quote that Joanne Wright says all the time is that if it's measurable, it's improvable. So how do you know that you're growing in this industry if you don't track these numbers? Is your closing ratio going up? Is your profit per presentation going up? Is your marketing working? You know, how do you know if your marketing's working if you're not tracking the outcome from your marketing efforts? So you just have to make sure that you are treating your business like a business and that these are simply the numbers that you need to know.
Exactly. You do.
The next one is going to be writing down your goals. This is like huge for our company.
I'll be honest, do you?
I do every single year. I write down. I don't do New Year's resolutions because I don't want to be tied to like an annual time frame. But I do. I write down my goals, and it's crazy. And you know what's funny?
It's so fun to go back and see them too. Do you save them?
I do. Every single year I save them, and like some of the goals, like I'll forget that I wrote down, and then I'll go back and look at them like, oh my God, I did that. When I wrote that down, I was like, there's no way. But like, I'll write it down just to see what happens. And I'm like, this happened this year. So it's crazy. But 42% more likely to accomplish a goal by just, if you do nothing different, just writing it down. You're 42% more likely.
And write it down somewhere where you can see it. I mean, I have a goal folder right next to my computer. And again, I remember 3.5 years ago when I first started, I wrote down my dream big list. I mean, we're thinking like everything is dream real big. And I love seeing, like, being able to cross things off of that. Yeah.
That's just it. It's just, like, things that, like, I never would have thought in a million
years. It's amazing. And then, every year I do write new ones, but I also keep all of them behind my dream big list.
So you have to be familiar with, like, the BHAGs. The term BHAG. That's something that's huge in our company is big, hairy, audacious goals. Or big, hairy-ass goal. And that was something that they do, and they say, like, you know, we had one that we wanted to do, again, like, our production as a company, things like that. You know, when we went from 50, like, it would have been, we went from 50 million production, and they had a goal of 100 million by 2020.
Yeah.
And, no, 100 million by 2015. And we hit that in 2013. And when they set that goal, we're like, there's no way this is going to happen. There's no way. And at the time, like, we've well surpassed 100 million production. Yeah. But to say, like, we're going to do this by 2015, we're like, there's no way. And we hit it 2 years early. And that's just by writing it down and making people aware of it. It's crazy what that will do.
On my dream big list, I remember I said, I want to have 10 financial advisors that I work with. That was my big, was 10.
That was your big, was 10.
Now I'm almost at 40.
That's hilarious.
It's crazy.
And the thing is, like, that was, like, a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Starting out, I'm like, man, if I could just land 10.
I just can get 10. Pam put a really good point on here. She goes, I had a friend who had a vision board in her office and puts both personal and business goals.
Personal on there for sure.
But I love
go
that.
Hand in hand. Yeah.
Because, like, we're, you know, like, let's be honest, if any of us hit the lottery, how many of us would still be going to work at, you know, 7:30, 8 a.m. every single day if you hit the lottery, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you need to know, like, what is my motivation for hitting my, you know, my business goals? Like, yes, it's, you know, it's growth, it's, you know, promotion, it's whatever it is, but, like, you need to keep in mind, like, you need to have that balance. You can't all of your goals can't be professional financial goals. You need to make sure that you are a rounded human. Part of the little things. We're getting real deep.
We are.
then I think this might be the last thing. I'll double check, but
I think there's a couple.
A couple more. This is something that I know we've actually had a full Medicare cafe on, and that's taking ownership. That's a little thing that a lot of people like. Well, I don't want to, I made a mistake, or I don't want people to see that like I made that I did this, so I'm gonna brush it off this one time.
Things are gonna happen, whether it's your fault, whether it's your assistant's, whether it's the insurance carrier's fault. It doesn't matter. At some point, you're gonna have to make a hard phone call to a client, and you gotta eat the frog. Remember?
Eat the frog.
You gotta eat the frog. Rip off that Band-Aid, and don't make excuses.
So
just own it.
The best example I have of this is actually my stepdad. He goes around, he travels quite a bit for his work. And so there's one Holiday Inn that he stayed at, and he said that, like, he got there and he said, like, had just not a great experience. There is a water stain on the floor. The whole entire floor was wet. They put him in this room, and he's just, like, not happy. He was literally going down to complain and say, like, give me a refund. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to a different hotel. He said he talked to somebody, and that person's like, this is terrible. I hate that you had the experience. Gave him the presidential suite, gave him a bunch of free room service, and now he will not go to another hotel. If he is in that town, that's where he goes.
That's
Even though, like, they messed up royally. The fact that they went above and beyond to fix it, took ownership for it, didn't give excuses.
Perfect
he's
example.
Like, if he's in that town, that is where he's staying.
If I can remember a handful of times of when, like, something's gone wrong, and I'm like, I push it off a day. I'm like, I don't want to call that client. I don't want to do it.
Talk about eat the frog. What does that mean again?
So much. It's like it's just a hard pill to swallow. Like, you just have to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's a book, I think.
We talked about this.
Talks about it all the time.
Yeah. But it's just getting it done. And honestly, my favorite thing to do is, like, do it first thing.
Yes, do it first thing.
Don't put it
because
off.
It's always going to be the reaction. Like, it's going to be less than what you're building it up in your head.
It's never as bad as you think.
It's never as bad as they think.
No. So just making sure that, again, knock it out very first thing. Get it done with. Own up to it. Now, my biggest rule when it comes to, like, apology tours is never apologize for something that's not your fault.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, like, I always say, like, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you experienced that. But, like, don't, if a carrier messed up or, like, somebody did that, like, you're not going to apologize. You might think different than me. This is very much like an Olivia thought. Don't apologize saying, I'm sorry that, like, the carrier did that. I'm sorry. No, because the minute that you say you're sorry, you're admitting fault. So just saying things like, get on their side of the table. There are other ways to get on their side of the table without saying sorry when it's not your fault. But by saying things like, I hate that
we're in this situation.
I hate we're in. I love that you said we. I hate that we're in this situation.
Yeah.
We're gonna do whatever we can to fix it.
Yeah.
You called the right person. I'm gonna fix this for you.
Absolutely.
Versus saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry that Humana did this. I'm so sorry that WellCare. I'm sorry that WellCare did this, because you're innately. But when it is your fault,
you're saying WellCare did it, but when you put them in that WellCare plan.
Exactly. Yeah. So whenever it is your fault, though, you apologize until you're blue in the face and you mean it.
Yeah.
The next little thing is going to be retention services. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but you said, like, if you're not doing the little things, your retention, then you're not going to have any retention.
No, not at all.
But I like it whenever agents talk about the retention services, like, as a service. Because, like, if a client is confused as to why they're hearing from you throughout the year, you didn't set the expectations correctly. You need to set the expectations. At the end of
every single meeting after it's signed. I'll tell them what they can expect. 7 contacts a year. So tell me about what the 7 contacts are.
So the 7 contacts, this is actually done by State Farm, had their agent do a big presentation, and I watched this, it would have been like 5-6 years ago now. But State Farm did their top seller was basically like, this is how I do so well. And he's got, like, the most referrals and things like that. He said, in order for me to guarantee that a client is going to stay with me throughout the year, because there's so many external factors that I can't control. Advertising, door-to-door sales, telemarketers, there's so much. He says, I make sure I talk to my clients 7 times a year. And that's not 7 phone calls, but, like, he does. So, like, what we tell agents to do is
like
do
7 touches,
7
or like
touches.
7 meetings, or 7
touches. Contact points.
Okay.
So we tell agents do a quarterly newsletter.
Yep.
There's 4. You have your annual review. You do a thank you card, do a birthday card, or do do an event every year that you're inviting them to.
I've never
your
counted.
ANOC events. But you have your clients need to be hearing from you at least 7 times a year. If you do, like, a postcard,
I should count how many times.
Postcard, how many touch points you get, but it has to be 7 is the minimum.
Interesting.
You can do a lot more than that. Yeah. But 7 is the minimum.
I feel like I probably do
Not
that.
including social media.
I've never counted. I need to count.
You need to count because, 7 is the minimum. But again, talking about it like you need to continue to sell yourself. Again, people don't go to Carrie to buy a United Healthcare policy. They go to Carrie to talk to for Carrie services. So you need to make sure people truly understand what they're getting whenever they're working with you.
Yeah.
I like that. You're your own brand.
And track your retention. Like, track it so you can see that these things are working.
Exactly. Again, if you're not tracking your numbers, how do you know if you're improving? How do you know if you're successful with it? So, guys, that is our conversation about the little things. Those are the things that me and Carrie kind of talked about.
What are some of your guys' little things?
I would love to know.
Do?
What's like the little touch?
The little cherries on top.
The little cherry on top. What's that little something extra that you do? But while you guys, again, text us, let us know what your kind of extra bell and whistle is that you provide to your clients, or what you do to ensure that you are successful in your business. Again, I think it's crazy how many agents don't realize, like, you're in business. Treat yourself like a business. Like, you have to. So anyways, that being said, so I was out last week while people were typing in their questions and how was last week?
It was good.
I heard we had some computer issues.
Oh, yes. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think we lost a few viewers because I don't think we started until like 10:10.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. But some people hung on, and it was good. It was good. We kind of recapped the summit. Would love to hear your recap.
My
your
recap
thoughts
of the
on
summit.
The summit.
I'd love to know, like, guys, text me or comment who actually attended the National Senior Sales Summit. Kim says that she does the thank you notes for referrals and things like that. Who attended the sales summit? Now, reminder, all content, including main stage and all the breakouts, including mine and Carrie's breakout, will be available for the next, whatever 90 days was from the summit, which was the 17th. So let us know. But for me, I love the content. I really enjoy just kind of hearing from other individuals, getting different perspectives. We did some really interesting ones where we actually had Sargent from Integrity, who is literally like running the ship between Medicare Center and Lead Center and things like that. He was on there kind of talking about some of the cool, innovative stuff that Integrity is doing for us.
I missed that one.
It was really cool. Is that
one I can watch back?
You can watch all of them back.
I'll have to catch that one.
Yes.
I feel like I've only watched probably half of them so far.
And there's honestly, there's
lots of content on there.
There's 10 hours of content on there.
Judy said she watched it and loved it.
Good. Gail says she's loved the information. Yeah, Dan did kind of what we call like the state of address, like the State of the Union conversation, talking about like what are the industry looking like right now, and that's always a fan favorite just because it's good to know. Your clients won't need to know 90% of it, but it's good to know kind of like what's happening in your backyard.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. I really enjoy it. I miss being face to face. I really thrive in the face to face atmosphere, but I think based on what we could do this year for an AEP prep, I thought it went really well.
And it's nice, the virtual, because, some of us are still watching it.
There's,
that aspect of it is really nice.
I think when we count it, there's 12 to 15 hours of content to watch.
Yeah, I think that's what Sadie said.
It's insane.
She said she didn't sleep for a few days.
No, the video team was busy for a while. Yeah. So, well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you do have any other questions, comments, concerns,
or any topics you want to hear about.
Arnie says we were both great at the summit. Thank you,
thanks, Arnie.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, any topics you guys want to hear about that we haven't done in a while, or anything that you'd like us to talk about. We're always looking for topics.
It's AEP season, y'all. We had United Healthcare in our office yesterday to go over commitments and where do we think we're gonna have production. And the crazy thing is every carrier looks really good this year.
Yeah.
United Healthcare is always a leader in that. But we're in the season. 'Tis the season. Make sure your certifications are done. Pre-order for United Healthcare
5 weeks away?
Yeah. Yes. Not even, are we? 30 days.
It's gonna 31. Go fast.
So awesome. Appreciate you guys so much. We will see you next time. So until then, have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service. Thanks, guys.